Let me ask you this. What if I told you that most people today are quietly living in defeat? It's not because they lack talent or potential, but because they lack mental strength. We're constantly scrolling, comparing ourselves to others, feeling envious, and then we wonder why we feel stuck or lost. We're chasing comfort, yet feel exhausted. We avoid pain, yet still suffer. But here's the harsh truth. Comfort is slowly killing us. We seek ease, but we don't realize that it's this very comfort that dulls our strength. On the other hand, struggle, although painful and difficult, is where true power lies. This concept isn't new. The ancient Stoics, long before smartphones and social media, understood this. One of the greatest Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Let that sink in for a moment. You have power over your own mind, not the external circumstances or events. When you realize this, you'll find a well of strength you never thought you had. This isn't just a quote, it's a mindset, a tool for navigating the chaos of life without being shaken by it. The Stoic philosophy doesn't promise a life of ease. What it does promise is the ability to become unstoppable. It teaches us how to build inner resilience, how to endure hardships without falling apart, how to face difficulties with calm and clarity. It's about controlling what's in our power, our thoughts, our reactions, our actions, while letting go of the rest. Now you might be asking, what does all of this mean for me? How can it help me in my daily life? Well, here's the thing. The Stoics teach us that the challenges we face today are not obstacles to our happiness. They are opportunities to build strength. When we face adversity, we don't run from it. Instead, we embrace it, knowing that it's through these trials that we grow. Think about it. Every time you face a challenge, whether it's a tough conversation, a setback at work, or an unexpected obstacle in your personal life, what's your first reaction? Most of us try to avoid it, right? We look for the easiest way out, the quickest fix. But this is where we go wrong. The Stoics teach us a different approach. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, faced wars, betrayal, illness, and many personal losses. But he embraced these hardships. He didn't see them as something to avoid. He saw them as an opportunity for growth. He believed that every obstacle was not just a challenge, but a chance to become stronger. The impediment to action advances action, Marcus Aurelius famously said. In other words, the very thing that stands in our way is the path to growth. The obstacle is the way. Every rejection, every setback, every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to sharpen your willpower, build patience, and develop resilience. Modern life tells us to avoid pain. The Stoics, however, tell us to train for it. They didn't shy away from discomfort. They ran toward it, welcomed it, and allowed it to shape them. And through this, they built a kind of strength that couldn't be broken, no matter how difficult life got. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something uncomfortable on purpose? When did you last put yourself in a situation that forced you to grow? Maybe it's something small, like taking a cold shower, having an uncomfortable conversation, or pushing yourself through a tough workout. Whatever it is, it's a step toward becoming the person you want to be. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, often practiced what he called voluntary hardship. He would deliberately put himself in uncomfortable situations, sleeping on the floor, eating simple meals, wearing old clothes, not because he hated himself, but because he knew that discomfort was where his strength would come from. By practicing hardship, he was preparing himself for the challenges life would inevitably throw his way. And here's the most important part. Discomfort is not your enemy. In fact, it's your mirror. It shows you who you really are, and more importantly, who you are becoming. We often avoid small discomforts today, only to face larger, more painful consequences tomorrow. But if we lean into discomfort, walk through the fire with awareness, we begin to change. We stop fearing pain, and that's when we start to experience true freedom. From now on, I want you to look at discomfort differently. Let me take you even deeper into the ancient wisdom that's been passed down through generations. 8 powerful Stoic principles that can transform your life mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. These are not just catchy quotes or vague motivational speeches. These are timeless lessons that were forged in the heart of the Roman Empire, and they still carry immense value today. Now, I want you to focus. This isn't just another video where you watch and forget. This is your wake-up call. If you're serious about growth, about leveling up, you need to engage, think, and reflect as we go through these principles. This is not background noise, it's time to make it personal. Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially when one of these principles hits home for you. Share this with someone who could use these insights. And most importantly, don't skip any part. Each of these laws has the potential to shape your mindset in ways that will stick with you. Let's dive right into these 8 Stoic laws. 1. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. In life, the battle is often not with the world around you, but with your own mind. The Stoics teach us to focus on what's within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. Everything else? Let it go. Here's the hard truth. Most of what we stress about is beyond our control. You can't control the weather, the opinions of others, or unexpected events. But you can control how you respond. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. When you embrace this, you begin to take back your power. Instead of worrying about things you can't change, you focus on how you act in any given situation. You stop giving away your peace over things that don't matter. Focus on your own thoughts and actions, and you'll find an incredible sense of peace and clarity. 2. Embrace discomfort, for it is your strength. The first principle we covered was all about discomfort, and that's because discomfort is one of the most crucial tools for growth. Stoicism isn't about avoiding pain, it's about embracing it. Life will always throw challenges your way, and if you've trained yourself to face discomfort head-on, you'll be ready for whatever comes next. Seneca famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Stoics believed that the more you can control your response to discomfort, the more powerful you become. That means putting yourself in uncomfortable situations on purpose. It might sound extreme, but voluntary hardship, whether it's skipping a meal, taking a cold shower, or pushing through a tough workout, strengthens your mind and prepares you for life's inevitable struggles. 3. Practice gratitude and acceptance. When life doesn't go your way, it's easy to fall into a mindset of frustration or resentment. But the Stoics knew that true peace comes not from avoiding setbacks, but from accepting them with grace. Epictetus, another great Stoic, taught that we should view everything that happens, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Practicing gratitude and acceptance means learning to take whatever life gives you without complaint, knowing that each experience is a lesson. Gratitude isn't just about counting your blessings, it's about accepting. If you could choose one word to describe modern life, what would it be? Most people might say convenience or comfort, and that's exactly the problem. We've become so accustomed to avoiding discomfort at all costs that we've forgotten the power of struggle. Now here's where Stoicism flips the script. Welcome hardship like a friend. This is not just a concept, it's a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. Instead of running away from pain or difficulty, the Stoics teach us to embrace it, to face it head-on, and to use it as a tool for personal growth. Think about it. What if the challenges you avoid today are the very things that would shape your future strength? Every time you resist facing discomfort, you delay your potential. But every time you face it, you sharpen your mind, body, and spirit. The Stoic path. Embrace discomfort. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperor, knew firsthand what it meant to face adversity. He didn't live in a world of luxury or ease. He lived through wars, betrayal, illness, and personal loss. Yet through all of this, he remained calm, composed, and a leader of great strength. Let me give you an example. Imagine being in a war. an actual, physical battle, where every moment could mean life or death. Now, imagine not only surviving that battle, but leading your soldiers, staying calm, focused, and making decisions with clarity. That was Marcus Aurelius's reality. He faced the struggles of war and loss, yet he never let those hardships define him. Instead, he used them as a forge for his character. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In simpler terms, what stands in your way, what challenges you face, become the path you walk. The struggle is not something to be avoided. The struggle is the path. It's through the obstacles that you grow stronger. Every rejection, every setback, every difficulty is an opportunity to build resilience and sharpen your will. Why hardship is essential to growth. Let's think about this from a different angle. You've probably heard people say, "I just want to take it easy," or "I'm tired of fighting." We all crave comfort and peace, and there's nothing wrong with that in moderation. But here's the problem. Comfort does not make you stronger. In fact, too much comfort weakens you. It makes you soft and unprepared for the inevitable challenges of life. In contrast, Stoicism teaches us that pain and hardship are essential to growth. They are the training grounds for your mental and emotional strength. If you've ever had to push yourself through a tough workout, gone through a challenging project at work, or had a difficult conversation with someone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment of discomfort, whether physical, mental, or emotional, is the moment where growth happens. You don't grow in the easy moments. You grow when you're forced to rise above the challenge, to push through the struggle. The Stoics understood this on a profound level. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, practiced what he called voluntary hardship. This was his way of preparing for the inevitable discomforts of life by deliberately placing himself in uncomfortable situations. He would sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and wear rough clothes, not out of self-punishment, but to train his mind and body to endure discomfort without breaking. By facing hardship on purpose, you build the mental fortitude to handle whatever life throws at you. If you avoid discomfort now, you'll break when real challenges come your way. But if you welcome discomfort as a tool for growth, you'll face even the most difficult moments with calm and resilience, making discomfort your ally. The question is, how do you put this into practice? How do you embrace discomfort every day in your own life? The first step is to see it as a friend, not as an enemy. If you continue to run from every bit of pain or discomfort, you'll never grow. But if you start facing discomfort head-on, you will realize something remarkable. You stop fearing it. When you stop fearing pain, you become free. Here's a challenge for you. Today, choose one small discomfort to face. Maybe it's waking up earlier than usual, taking a cold shower, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, take one step outside your comfort zone. Just one. This isn't about forcing yourself into pain just for the sake of it. It's about deliberately choosing discomfort to strengthen yourself. Every time you face a challenge, no matter how small, it's like adding another piece to the armor of your willpower. Let me give you another example. Imagine you've just had a tough day. Everything feels like it's going wrong, and your instinct is to collapse on the couch and veg out in front of the TV. But you choose not to. Instead, you choose to go for a run, do a workout, or even just take a walk outside. It's uncomfortable at first, but you push through. That feeling of discomfort, that's where the magic happens. By choosing discomfort over ease, you're building mental strength that will serve you in every area of your life. The Stoic Warrior. Strength in adversity. The Stoics believed that you should never waste a moment of pain. When you encounter suffering, don't run from it. Embrace it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? Instead of letting it break you, let it shape you into a stronger version of yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. When you understand that your response to hardship is what truly matters, you realize that nothing can break you unless you let it. The greatest warriors are not the ones who avoid battle, but the ones who step into it with courage, knowing they have the strength to endure. Similarly, the greatest people in life are those who face adversity with grace, who choose to learn and grow from every challenge that comes their way. Start today. Embrace the struggle. You don't need to wait for a major crisis to put this into practice. You can start today by embracing small challenges in your everyday life. Think about it. What's one area of your life where you're avoiding discomfort? Is it your fitness, your career, your relationships? Wherever it is, take that first step toward discomfort. Embrace it. Remember, every time you face a challenge, you are choosing to become stronger. The obstacles that stand in your way are not there to defeat you. They're there to build you. So I challenge you, find one way to embrace discomfort today. Don't run from it. Walk through it and let it forge your character. Because every time you do, you're training to become unstoppable. By now, you've learned that life's challenges and discomforts are not things to avoid, but opportunities to grow. But there's one more crucial aspect of Stoicism that we need to dive into: emotional control. The Stoics understood that one of the greatest powers we can cultivate is the ability to control our emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing them, but learning how to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. In our modern world, emotions often dictate our behavior. One rude comment can ruin your day. A setback at work can spiral into a sense of defeat, or even the smallest inconvenience can send you into a wave of frustration. We've all been there. But what if you could stop your emotions from controlling you, and instead, take control of how you respond? What if you could train your mind to stay calm, even in the face of adversity? Let's look at what the Stoics have to teach us about this. Don't let emotions rule your life. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is the idea that you are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This quote is a game changer. What Marcus Aurelius is telling us is that our pain is not caused by external events, but by our judgments of those events. It's our interpretation of the situation that determines how we feel. This is huge because it means we don't have to let external factors, like other people's actions or life's difficulties, control how we feel. Imagine this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your initial reaction is anger. But the Stoic mindset says that the anger you feel isn't caused by the person who cut you off. It's caused by your interpretation of the situation. You've chosen to see it as an offense. However, you have the power to change that perception. You can choose to let it go, to not allow that small incident to steal your peace. This is where the real power lies, in our ability to pause, reflect, and choose how we respond, rather than letting our emotions control us. The difference between reaction and response. So, how do we practice this emotional control? First, it's important to distinguish between reaction and response. Reaction is instinctual, an immediate emotional outburst that often leads to regret. Response, on the other hand, is deliberate and thoughtful. A reaction is an automatic, unthought-out response to a situation. A response is a conscious choice. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes when we stop reacting emotionally to everything that happens. Instead, we train ourselves to respond thoughtfully. This means taking a step back, allowing ourselves a moment of pause before we act. It means being aware of our emotions without letting them dictate our behavior. It's about choosing calm, choosing patience, choosing resilience, no matter what life throws at us. This is not easy. It requires constant practice. But with time, you can train yourself to respond with intention, rather than reacting impulsively. Training emotional control in difficult situations. Let's take this one step further. How do we practice emotional control in the midst of life's most challenging situations? It's one thing to stay calm when things are easy, but what happens when the pressure's on? When you're in the middle of a stressful conversation, a difficult situation, or facing failure? That's when your true emotional strength is tested. Of the most powerful Stoic practices for cultivating emotional control is reflection. When things go wrong, instead of letting yourself get swept up in emotions like anger, fear, or frustration, take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself, what can I control here? What's within my power? What can I learn from this situation? This type of reflection helps you regain control over your emotions and stop them from hijacking your response. You don't have to react to everything that goes wrong. Instead, you can choose to approach it with wisdom, calm, and a focus on what you can control. Take a moment to think about the last time you were really upset. How did you respond? Did you let anger take over? Or did you take a deep breath, pause, and choose how to react? Reflecting on those moments and learning from them is one of the most powerful ways to build emotional resilience. The power of perspective. Reframing emotions. Huge part of Stoicism is learning to reframe situations. Instead of viewing every challenge or difficulty as a threat, we learn to see them as opportunities for growth. Let's look at another quote from Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you change your perspective, you change your emotional experience. The Stoics understood that it's not the events themselves that cause us distress, but the way we interpret them. When you reframe a difficult situation, you are essentially rewriting the emotional response you have to it. Instead of seeing hardship as something that's happening to you, see it as a challenge that's happening for you, one that is meant to make you stronger. When you reframe, now that we've explored the power of emotional control and facing life's challenges head-on, it's time to address another crucial Stoic lesson: living with purpose and pursuing values, rather than seeking external recognition. In a world driven by likes, comments, and the constant need for validation, it's easy to get lost in the pursuit of approval from others. But here's the hard truth. The desire for external praise will never bring you true peace or fulfillment. It will only leave you feeling empty and constantly chasing an illusion. So, why live for the approval of others? Why waste your time seeking validation from people who will never truly understand your inner journey? The Stoics taught us a far more powerful path, the path of living for our values, for the sake of doing what is right, not for the recognition that may, or may not, come with it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, captured this idea perfectly when he said, "Do what is right, the rest doesn't matter." This simple yet profound statement reminds us that our worth is not defined by external applause, but by our ability to live according to our principles and values. The illusion of external validation in today's world. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others, whether it's likes on social media, praise from your boss, or attention from friends. We are constantly reminded of how much we crave validation. But let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, why are we so fixated on what others think of us? The truth is, external validation is fleeting. You may get praise one day, but it won't last. What happens when the praise stops? What happens when you don't get the recognition you thought you deserved? You'll be left feeling empty, insecure, and constantly seeking the next external fix. The Stoics believed that this constant chase for external approval only leads to dissatisfaction. The more we seek the approval of others, the less we are in control of our own lives. We become slaves to the opinions of others, constantly adjusting our behavior and actions to fit their expectations. This is not freedom, it's a form of bondage. Instead, Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers taught us to live with purpose, not for applause. The Stoic path is about finding satisfaction in doing what is right, in living by your principles, even if no one notices or acknowledges it. This is what creates inner peace and a sense of fulfillment that external validation can never provide. Living by your values, not for others' approval. So how do we live by our values, even when no one is watching? The first step is to define what those values are. What do you stand for? What principles guide your decisions, your actions, and your relationships? Take a moment to reflect on this. For the Stoics, virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline were at the core of their philosophy. These are the values they strive to embody, not for recognition, but because they believed in them deeply. They weren't interested in impressing others or seeking validation from the outside world. They were interested in becoming better versions of themselves, in living according to their highest ideals. Living by your values means doing the right thing even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. It means choosing integrity over convenience, honesty over flattery, and courage over fear. It's about being true to yourself regardless of whether anyone acknowledges or approves of your actions. This is the essence of living with purpose, the power of living with integrity. When you live according to your values, something incredible happens. You begin to build a sense of integrity that cannot be shaken. Integrity is the foundation of self-respect. When you act in alignment with your values, you start to trust yourself more. You become someone you can count on, even in the most difficult circumstances. This internal strength is unshakable because it's rooted in something far more reliable than external validation. It's rooted in your own character. Living with integrity means that you're not swayed by the opinions of others. It doesn't matter if someone criticizes you, judges you, or even misunderstands you. When you are grounded in your values, you have the strength to stand firm, knowing that you are doing what is right. This is the kind of strength that makes you unstoppable. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations wrote, "Be yourself, don't be a puppet to anyone else's opinion." This is a reminder that we are not meant to live according to others' expectations. Instead, we should live true to ourselves, guided by our inner compass, not by the fluctuating opinions of the crowd. The rewards of living for values, not approval. The rewards of living according to your values are immense. First, you experience a deep sense of fulfillment because you're not constantly chasing after things that don't truly matter. The need for external validation fades, and in its place you find contentment in knowing that you're living the life you've chosen for yourself. Second, living with purpose builds resilience. When life gets tough, it's easy to feel lost or overwhelmed. But if you've spent your life grounding yourself in your values, you'll have a foundation to rely on when things get hard. Your values will guide you through the storm, giving you the strength to keep moving forward. Finally, when you live for values and not recognition, you attract the right people into your life. People who are drawn to you will be attracted to your integrity and strength, not your ability to seek approval. You will form deeper, more meaningful relationships because they are based on mutual respect for each other's values, not shallow,